round of conversation, a lot of the solutions kind of have started to come out, employee assistance program, just change in vocabulary from all hands to all hearts, just keeping your eyes and ears open for change in behavior that you're seeing. At least keeping your mind open to change of format of some of the things that we used to do. But I want to dig a little deeper into some of these interventions and what are possible avenues in which we as CXOs and leaders can start to think about in our organizations. And, Arianna Huffington has famously started, she's spoken a lot about her nervous breakdown while running Huffington Post, and she has started a whole organization around that, which is called Thrive Global. I have a very close friend who runs Visa, which is an AI-based chat support. It's like they call it the 4 a.m. friend. And this is all kind of pre-COVID-19, right? This is kind of just as our lives were. It was still all of that mental health issues were endemic. So Puneet, I'll ask you if you think technology can play any role in systematically addressing some of this. So, the challenge is that when we say, okay, keep your eyes and ears open to see for clues or to hear any signals you get, or you say, be vulnerable, be authentic. These are such soft, subjective terms. And honestly, we as leaders have not grown up on that. Corporate India, America, corporate world is a lot about effectiveness and passion and driven and results oriented and metrics oriented and all of that. So one is just even transitioning to that vocabulary, but another is to take it to some specific initiatives, specific tasks, specific projects that we can begin to drive to at least wade in these waters and understand this problem a little well. So the question is, can technology play a role, and if yes, what?
That's an interesting one, right? And my 2 cents on this, and I've been in technology for 20 years, and I'm sure many of you are very deep, right? Technology is an enabler, right? You can't really expect technology to say, listen, I'm going to solve for all of these issues. And I think just 2-3 ideas on that, right? I think number one, again, technology plays a role there, right? Leadership is still a contact sport, right? Everything is becoming contactless, from pizzas to banking to coffee to everything, right? But leadership is still a contact sport, and technology enables you to do that, right? So on an average, I used to do 10 to 15 conversations a day with customers and colleagues and partners. I've doubled that number now, right? I'm just calling more people up, and technology helps me get there. Right. All of that, right? So that's one. Second, I think what Ajay said was really interesting, which was the say-do ratio, right? Which is your say-do ratio has to be 1:1. There's a ton of rhetoric, right? I mean, every time somebody tells me we're all in this together, I just ask them to just get out of the room, right? Just, no, we're not all in this together. We're all taking it differently, right? Which everybody is reacting differently. And how do you go from rhetoric to, and how do you make these words real emotions and actions, right? And I think that is important. On the vulnerable piece, Pooja, I agree with you. It's a very uber concept. But I think the only thing that, again, there's a left brain answer, there's a right brain answer. You can think about structured mechanisms, but I think I'll tell you one story, right? So I've been doing a weekly large group meeting where I kind of share my ideas, right? And every time I go in very strong and I go in with a clear point of view and a structure, and those conversations are okay, but not very meaningful. Last week, I had a conversation where I started with my own personal story saying, listen, by the way, guys, I'm really worried about my own father. And he's a heart patient, and we've just got an oximeter, and we're trying to figure out, should we have an oxygen tank given what's happening in Delhi and Bombay? And suddenly the tone of the conversation completely changed. It was probably the most meaningful conversation we've had as a group, because now people, and you have to lead with example, right? You think, listen, the guy's being honest and authentic and vulnerable, and he's not got everything under control. And let's talk about that, right? And then suddenly people started talking about their own emotions, and emotions are through the charts right now. And we completely dropped the agenda, and it was a really interesting conversation around what we're going through, right? So I think that, right. And then one final comment, again, I don't think it's a technology comment, but we all have to be, as leaders, we have to be hopeful, and I call it bounded optimism, right? Which is, you have to be optimistic and realistic at the same time. Nobody wants to follow a pessimistic leader, but at the same time, you can't be a blind optimist, right? So I think you have to kind of balance that off. And there's a very interesting theory around fragility. I don't know if you read this. Dr. Ben Tahar talks about this, and which is, he basically says that all complex systems, including humans and organizations and relationships, are not resilient. And again, we use this word resilient a lot. We're either fragile or anti-fragile, right? Which is, whenever a black swan event like this happens, you either come out of this much stronger or you come out of this much weaker. You never go back to your normal, right? And the difference between those two data sets is the intention, the level of engagement, the way you frame this, the way you go into this, right? So one of the questions I ask in all my business reviews is, even the ones which are not, the business is not doing well, what are we doing to prepare for when the business doubles, right? How are you thinking about a more optimistic framing and how a more positive framing? And that's where one more thing, and then I'll shut up on this, right? Which is what I call the butterfly effect. And it's even more relevant today. Another story, a few weeks ago, some small group in one of my teams, there's an individual who shared a very interesting story of how she helped somebody in her team. And she sent that mail out to a small group, and suddenly it kind of went to different parts of the organization. It came to me and I kind of blasted off, and it became viral. And for 15 minutes, I was smiling and I was happy.
Yeah.
After kind of reading that email and sending that email around, it's a true butterfly effect, right? And I'm pretty positive that for 15, 20 minutes that day, my entire team around India and different parts of the world were happy and positive, right? And it was a small 2-liner email around something that somebody did, right? So again, long story. Keep an eye on your say-do ratio. If you're saying be vulnerable, then be authentic and just let your guard down and be hopeful and positive and kind of, they say fear is contagious, so is courage, right? So spread courage and spread as much positivity as you can.